Hey, 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 welcome everybody to The Voice Den, session number 15. Thank you all for joining us. This is a special one because we've got a little bit bigger cast than we normally do. Normally we've got 5 voicefluencers. Today we've got we'll get to that, 7 or 8. And this is all about really recognizing all the wonderful people in the voice community, all the different organizations that are doing incredible events, and bringing everybody together because everybody has stepped up and become a wonderful partner of VoiceCon Live, which starts tomorrow. And that is the first conference on Clubhouse, all about voice and tech, but more about that later. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Teri Fisher, and I'm a physician in Vancouver, and I love voice tech. And the Voice Den is all about bringing us together as a community, chatting and having a great time. So, as always, we need to welcome the new people in the Voice Den. So if you are new to the Voice Den, in particular, I'd love for you to say hi in the chat and tell us where you are. And everybody, tell us where you are watching from, listening from. And you know the question that's coming up here right now, what are you drinking? So put it in the chat where you are and what you're drinking. And we're going to have some fun here in the Voice Den. While you are doing that, I do want to give a couple of shout outs to our sponsors of the Voice Den. Of course, we have Amazon Alexa. Oh, I hope your device is muted. I just realized mine wasn't. There we go. Amazon Alexa.
I don't have an answer for that.
She doesn't have an answer for that, but I do. Amazon Alexa is the sponsor for the Voice Den. And thank you, Amazon, for your generous contribution throughout really over the past year or so. As you know, Amazon does have a Slack channel for developers, and you can engage with the experts there, get questions answered, join the chat, and engage with all the experts that are there to help you with your skill development. If you would like to join, then I'm going to put the link right now in the chat for you. There's a special Voice Den link that's going to take you to the Slack channel, and away you go. And I'm just looking in the chat here now. We've got Steve Keller from Oakland drinking a cappuccino. Sounds good. And then another Steve Nelson in the Bay Area, 94 degrees ice water. I've got some water here too, Steve. I'm not going to lie. Who else we got here? We got I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Oida from Raleigh, North Carolina. Who else? Roger's here from Walnut Creek, Carolina right now. Fantastic. And healthy balance. Somebody says healthy balance of Olympics and voice tech. What a night. Hey, all right. We're going to talk about the Olympics in a bit. All right. The other sponsor that I want to definitely give a shout out to is Google. Google, as well as a sponsor of the Voice Den, and super appreciative of everything that they have done to support the show. For those of you that don't know, they have a series that they put on, monthly series, voicetalks.ai. Probably you are all familiar with that. Right now, if you sign up there, they're giving a free voice report to every subscriber. And also every 1,000 subscribers, they are giving away a virtual pass to Voice 2021, which is December 6th to 9th. And so I'm going to put the link to that as well, a special Voice Den link that'll take you over to that site, and you can check that out. All right. As well, I want to recognize our partners. As you know, we have Attention Live that has been a longtime partner, producing NFTs, helping with the production, and helping to really promote what we're doing with the Voice Den. So thank you to Attention Live. Audio Brain has done all the sonic branding that you hear for the Voice Den, in addition to all of my other personal assets. So it's wonderful to have Audio Brain here. And we have a new partner, and this is something that we're actually launching today. So this is really exciting. The spatial audio experience. If you've been in it before, you kind of have a sense of what I'm talking about. If not, no worries, we'll get to that. But I have now had the privilege of partnering with Spatial Web, who are one of the leading organizations that are putting together this augmented reality space. And we have version 2 of the Voice Den launching tonight, and wait until you see what's in store there. So thanks to Spatial Web as well. Okay, now, with all those announcements out of the way, we've got to get to the Voicefluencers, because that is why you are here. And so we're going to do quick intros, and then we're going to bring everybody up on the screen. So Audrey, those of you that know Audrey know that she is, boy, she's seen everywhere. Audrey is the founder and CEO of Audio Brain. She's the Emmy Award-winning founder and CEO, executive producer of Audio Brain, which is one of the most prestigious sonic branding firms in the world with 25 years expertise. Her sonic branding includes Microsoft, Xbox 360, and this is very timely. She currently, as we speak, is working on the NBC Olympics Tokyo Games broadcast. This is her 10th Olympic Games that Audio Brain has collaborated with NBC to provide support across the music with editing, as well as creative and technical support. So this is really exciting. So congrats to Audrey, and I don't know how you're able to be here without the Olympics like falling down on their face. So Audrey, thanks for being here. All right, as well, we have Sohaib. Now, Dr. Sohaib Imtiaz, he is the founder of the Human Behavior Club. Now, why am I having him here? Because he is such an integral part of what's going on with VoiceCon Live. And I mentioned we want to feature the partners. He is a medical doctor, and he is a digital health expert with a board certification in lifestyle medicine. As I mentioned, he's the founder of the Human Behavior Club. It is the largest club on Clubhouse. Get this. The club members in this club are approaching 600,000. Yes, more than 500,000 people are part of his club on Clubhouse. And so when it comes to social audio and trends, he knows what's going on. So it's a pleasure to have him here as well. Then we have all these people that I'm introducing, they really don't need any introduction. Bradley Metrock, CEO of Score Publishing, which is home to the podcast network VoiceFirst.fm, the Project Voice series, and he's got a daily newsletter, as you may know, but now he's also got his daily YouTube channel with Voice First TV. So Bradley, as always, it's a pleasure to have you here. Now we have Nick Sawka, and it's my pleasure to welcome Nick to the Voice Stand. This is his first appearance here, and Nick is the chief evangelist for Wonderword. He is in US to promote. He works in US now. Actually, he just lives down the street from me, just over the border, to promote Fabula, Poptail, and their audio entertainment productions. He's also founded Voice Spark Live, a video podcast where his team shines light on voice developers, future ambitions, and recent achievements. He's got over 100 videos on his YouTube channel, from skill reviews to tutorials, and he helps to educate the voice community. So Nick, it's absolutely wonderful to have you here as well. Another person that does not need any introduction, Dr. Joan Palmiter Bajorek, CEO, founder of Women in Voice. I'm sure a lot of you were very involved with last week's event that they put on, which was fantastic. So congrats to Joan. She, as you know, her nonprofit is empowering women and gender diversity in voice tech. She's got all kinds of accolades, top 11 influencer in voice by VoiceBot, Executive of the Year finalist 2019, and finalist for Project Voice Medal for Diversity and Inclusion. I could go on and on and on. So Joan, it's a pleasure to have you here as well. Now, Shyamala, you all know Shyamala as well. Unfortunately, she's not able to be with us today. That's why I said at the beginning, we have 7 or 8 people. We had 8 scheduled. Unfortunately, she can't be here due to some work stuff that did come up, but she sends her regards, and we'll have her back on at some point soon. You know, Shyamala is absolutely amazing. And it's too bad she can't be here, but totally understandable. John Stine. John is the executive director for the Open Voice Network. Probably another man that does not need any introduction. He grew up in the US Midwest, now in Portland, Oregon, and he did some stints in retailing and technology, global responsibilities, and lessons about what creates value and why is one of the things that he wanted to share. So it's a pleasure to have John here as well. And last but not least, we have Ian Utile. He is my partner with VoiceCon Live, co-founder of VoiceCon Live, and he's also the CEO, founder of Attention Live, which is an incredible media company that leverages, really, I always say, he bridges the intersection of voice technologies and NFTs. And if you don't know what Attention Live is doing, I encourage you to check out their website because it truly is unbelievable. So there we are. That was a lot of introductions. Thank you for bearing with me. I want to bring everybody up on stage. We'll do this in batches because we do have a few people here, and I'm going to just get them up on stage to say hi, and then we're going to get to all of your questions. So here's what we do, a little bit of the juggling around. So let's get Audrey up here. And we're going to invite up a couple other people here. So, okay. And one
Hey, Terry.
There we are, Bradley. Here he is, the man himself. How's it going,
How are
Bradley?
you? Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for having all of us here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So thank you, Bradley. And I think we may have spoke about this a little bit last time, but everybody's got a nickname on this, and you've got This Week in Voice VIP. I think it's pretty obvious why, but tell us just a little bit more about this new TV show that you're doing on this daily basis.
Oh yeah, no, I took my son to YouTube University, which is an actual thing. Funny enough, and I came back the YouTuber. So, I've been studying YouTube for a while. I knew it was something I wanted to do, and now I'm fully on the YouTube grind. In addition to Catalyst, our consulting firm, basically is running smoothly. I don't have to be spending as much time with that, so I can put some more time into content, which is really where I started. With all this 5 years ago, and having a lot of fun doing it. So that's what that's about. Fantastic.
Well, it's great. I've seen a number of those episodes, and it's great, short to the point, and in and out, and it's great. Get the knowledge and the things that we need to know. So thanks, Bradley. Nick, how are you doing? Great to have you here.
Oh, I'm doing great. It's beautiful hot weather in Washington, as you know, and I hope I wasn't too loud last night. I installed some outdoor speakers in my tree, so I don't know if you heard.
I could hear it down the street. No, but in all seriousness, I think Nick and we figured out we're just about an hour away now by car, so we'll have to meet up at some point, Nick. And
it'll be cool.
Definitely do that. So you are the voice tester. What's the deal with that nickname, the voice tester?
Yeah. So just like Bradley, whenever I started my YouTube channel, it started back in 2016, but it eventually went dormant for a while, and then in 2019 I figured I would just try to shine a light on skills and allow people to see what they look like, and do screen capture, stuff like that. So at that point I just decided that I was going to go ahead and do that, and as of right now I think I'm up to about 80 skill reviews, somewhere around there. Testing games, giving constructive feedback, because, it's one thing to trash something, but it's another thing to actually provide constructive feedback and help people create a viable product.
Great. Well, thank you for being here. As always, it's wonderful to have you here. Awesome. Joan, well, great to have you here. And you had a big event last week, and you still, I believe, have a prize up for grabs. Do you want to share that with everybody?
Yeah. Well, hopefully a lot of people, sounds like people came to the summit. So grateful y'all came. It was very widely attended. So very exciting. We also have the Women in Voice and Voice Flow raffle. So if you have not applied, there are still spots. I actually asked for an extension just for tonight because I knew about this event. So I'll put it back in the chat. But there is beautiful mug and hat that could be coming your way if you are one of the lucky winners.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us as well. Such incredible work that you're doing. So we all appreciate that. John, over to you. How are you doing? Great to have you here.
Doing great, Terry. Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity here.
Wonderful. And I have to say, like last time we talked, we found out about a little fact about you, which I thought was very interesting, something about the NBA. I wonder if you want to share that again with the crowd here, because I think that's just such a cool little piece of information.
At one point was an official statistician in the NBA, and kept track of things from courtside. So years ago, but that was a fascinating experience.
Were you always like a basketball fan, or how did you like fall into that? Or is it?
I grew up in Indiana, so of course I was a basketball fan and played hoops in high school and did statistics at Indiana University. So yeah, there's a whole lot of history there, Terry. Won't go into it.
Well, it's great to have you here, and you are, of course, doing amazing work with the Open Voice Network as well.
Thank you.
So we all appreciate that. Okay, if it's okay, I'm gonna rotate a couple of you off the screen to bring on a couple other people, and then we're gonna get to the questions here. So we will see you all back shortly. All right, and then Ian, how's it going? My partner with VoiceCon Live. How are ya?
I am a happy camper here in the treehouse.
And that is what you're known for now. Just tell us about the treehouse again for people that don't know.
The treehouse guy. We have a treehouse. It's about a mile from the ocean in Santa Cruz, but it feels like we're out in the middle of the forest, and the weather is glorious, and I could not be more thankful. So my boys and I, we slowly took over the treehouse. Eventually, it was originally built for Airbnb, but then we stopped Airbnb it, and it became my office. Then it became basically our primary dwelling.
And there you are. Fantastic. Well, we're going to hear more from you. We've got a big 2 days coming up over the next little while.
Very
so I'm
excited.
excited for that. Awesome.
Thank you.
Now, I'm trying to bring up our other guests, and I'm having trouble bringing them up. So unfortunately, for the sake of everybody's time, I'm going to probably move forward. Audrey, I see it says you're connecting, but we're not able to get to you on screen here. So if you want, you can, I'm going to put a link here in the chat. This goes for anybody who wants to join us now for questions. This is a link that you can go to do a quick tech check here for this platform if you have any technical issues. The other thing you can do is try just refreshing. But for now, I want to move along to the questions, and let's go. Okay. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody on the screen for a bit here, and we're going to pull into the question bank. So for those of you that are new here, down below, you're going to see a place where you can ask a question. That is your opportunity to type in a question for any one or two of these voicefluencers, and we're going to get you live up on stage to chat about this and to have your questions answered. And as you may know, we've got a 5-minute time limit on these. So let's get this going here. And I see the first question is from Dana. So Dana, I'm going to invite you up here, and I see this is a question about the OVN. So certainly we're going to let me go back and get Joan back up here. So let's do that. All right. So we'll get Joan. And let's have a look at the question and just see what should the voice community know about things OVN is doing right now. So that's a great question. I want to see who else we can get up here that would have some insight into that. And Bradley, I think I'm going to bring you up as well. I know that you were involved, with the beginning of the OVN, and it would be great to get your take on this as well. So let's get Bradley and Joan. Dana, great to see you. Thank you for joining us as always. And you know the way this works, right? So we're going to put 5 minutes on the timer, and then away you go. All right, go for it.
Okay, you just wanted me to ask my question. I just
Sure.
want to know what OVN is doing that developers and others in the voice community need to know about, or should know about.
I'd say, and thanks for the question, and I'm going to turn it over to Bradley here in a moment, but I'd say quickly 3 things. The first is taking a look, researching and building this year toward prototypes, protocols, demos of the technology standards that could and should enable such things as interoperability among platforms, device-to-device, assistant-to-assistant interoperability, designing in privacy in multiple ways, as well as security for voice-specific things. And then also we're taking a look at a destination management component, protocols yet to be determined, but kind of a DNS for voice. All of these things, as you're developing work for enterprise or organizational clients, I think this Q3, Q4 will be a great time to tune in, learn, attend some of our seminars, and see how this begins to fit into your world and advancing that. We're also working on a number of things in ethical use, advisories for your clients, enterprise and organizational clients, as well as taking a look at use cases. So again, it's the OVON, the Open Voice Network. Bradley, you've been observing us, keeping track of us. How would you answer that as well?
Let me ask one more thing. Is the OVN associated with the VII? And is that enough acronym for one sentence?
That's enough acronyms for plenty of. We have been in conversation with the VII. We applaud the work of interoperability. We see that there are 2 different approaches to interoperability, and both are very important. Bradley?
John, you're so diplomatic. Yeah, when I'm taken aback that you were an NBA statistician, it's a shame that you're not a statistician now with what's going on to add up the losses of the men's basketball team. But anyway, I digress. So look, I just did a video. I watched the Alexa Live presentation, and that was an hour, just over an hour. It's like 61 minutes. They ended that live event, which is probably one of the most important things they have ever done, if not the most important hour of Alexa programming that Amazon has had since this all started, talking about Matter, the VII, the multi-agent design guide, and a bunch of stuff for 5 minutes or so about working with other people, basically working with other people, and the importance of working with other people, the importance of making things easier, interoperable, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's fascinating just to note that for what it is. They see the importance of that. And, you know, I'm glad to hear John say that there's been conversations. You know, I made a whole video on YouTube and threw it up there about how, you know, Amazon needs to take the next step in terms of the VII and start working with the Open Voice Network, because the Connectivity Standards Alliance is perfectly fine, but that's playing at a different level. What OVN is doing is equally as important and different. So, you know, for anybody watching, anybody from Amazon, Google, all these folks need to be participating in the Open Voice Network. And as I say in the video I made about this, you know, you can have the United States, Russia, and China, you know, all battling it out, but there's only one Switzerland. An Open Voice Network is the Switzerland of voice and AI. They're neutral territory. They serve a very specific and important purpose. They're critical, and we're glad they exist, and we're glad to support them.
Bradley, thank you.
It's interesting that one of the sponsors is in and one is not.
Actually,
of the voice den.
Of the two sponsors, we've been in conversation with both. And in fact, with one of those sponsors, we've been in extensive conversations and schedule regular private briefings. So we do our best, as Bradley said, as the Switzerland, as that neutral party, to be in conversation with everyone. We're open.
Right.
The doors are open. The kimonos are open. So
I was talking more about the VII than the OVN.
Point taken. But I appreciate the question, Dana. And like I said, like you've all said, this is such an important area for the future of voice. And I should stop talking because I now have the timer on myself. So thank you for the question, Dana. Thank you for your contributions, John and Bradley.
Thank you.
All right. So, all right, we're going to say goodbye to you three gentlemen for a few moments. All right. And we're going to dip into the question bank again. So keep those questions coming and keep voting on your favorite questions, because that is how I'm going to know who to bring up. So this one, let's get Roger up here for this question. Biggest thing holding back consumer adoption of voice technology. What does the industry need to do to change? Let's get up. I'm going to invite up Nick and Joan for this one, because I think they can give some very interesting perspectives on this particular question. So let me go and invite you two up. So Joan and Nick. All right. Hey, Roger.
Hey, Terry. How you doing?
Great. Good to see you. Thank you for joining as always. Really appreciate
likewise.
that. Wonderful. Well, Roger's been another Voicefluencer. It seems like all the people asking the questions are the Voicefluencers, which is wonderful. It's good to see some familiar faces, and I'll of course always see new faces. So if you are new here, by the way, don't be shy. Put your question in there. We'll get you up here. Okay, Roger, you know how this works. So fire away.
Yeah. So I think, well, I have my own opinions about this, but I'm curious what you think is holding back kind of wider consumer adoption of voice. You know, we've seen it grow dramatically, but I'm sure I certainly know people in my personal life and family members who just don't use it, right? And I've kind of had discussions with them, and I'm curious what you see as the biggest thing that we need to change in the voice industry to drive more consumer adoption of voice.
You want
Joan,
Yeah,
do you want to go
ahead.
first?
Joan?
Sure,
Yeah, go
sure.
ahead.
I got lots of ideas. Well, I think one of the first I've got multiple things. Behaviorally, it's not socially acceptable, right? I see tons of people who are willing to do it at home, like voice dictation, but suddenly in an open space, they're like, oh, this is uncomfortable in front of someone else to be writing up a memo or whatnot. I think there's also how well it understands us. And I'd even go towards the automatic speech recognition. Hopefully you all saw that we had our DEI award at Women in Voice was for someone building on African languages, because a lot of languages still aren't supported around the world, so that they wouldn't even understand your voice. But I think really also expectation setting. If we tell them that it'll work amazingly, you know, like Google Duplex, that expectation level is set way, way, way too high. And we need to be really, really thoughtful about this is what, if we're asking a real estate question, this is about a real estate question. You got something else? You want to talk about ice cream? We'll send you somewhere else. But like here, we're about real estate. So we think domain specific and really well curated UX for that is what I'd answer.
My answer would be that I think whenever you took a look at Alexa Live, the one thing that and I got to mute my device. The one thing that you realize is that Amazon is trying, right? They could have said, hey, you're on your own. That's fine. Go do what you got to do. But they're trying to bring people into the fold. Now, for me personally, what I would like to see is marketing, right? And I would also like to see people actively using these devices. Again, that's another reason why I do what I do, and I review and I test and I do all this. It's in order to help out with quality control, and it's an effort to show people, hey, there's some really cool stuff out here. I know a lot of people, and I'm going to start like a layman's blog series for like voice. And a lot of people say, hey, voice needs a killer app. Me, I say, hey, I can tell you 10 of them, but nobody uses them. The reason why is because nobody knows. And I think some of it comes down to partnering, right? So let's say you partnered with, company A, and they're $1 billion company, and you created this video game or this voice app that would do one thing and do it really well, or it would play a game with a family member across the country. They have to take a vested effort in that and market it. They have to show people about that. Like, imagine if you had like a streaming service or something like that, and during the ad, hey, open blah, blah, blah. And it shows them having fun and roll, imagine, you hear the dice roll. You think about things like that, that's not happening mainstream. It's just not. And you can see in the skill store, there's skills that are made by big companies, but you don't see any marketing push behind them. So that would be what I would change, and I think could bring voice to the forefront, and also expectations, because sometimes it just doesn't work. But aside from that, increase the marketing.
Cool. I see that John said in the chat here, he'd love to hear your opinion as well, Roger.
Oh, okay. Well,
put on the spot.
Well, you got to ask a question, you got to answer a question, right? Yeah, I really agree about marketing. I was actually thinking about it as I was typing out the question. A bunch of times I have family and friends, and they're like, well, what does it do? I can just look at my phone, or I can go to my PC. And then I demo to them, hey, you want to go check a sports score? You want to check the weather? I got to take my phone out. I got to unlock it. I got to go find something. Or I can just ask, and how quick and fast it is to get that information. I was thinking about remember those old Mac versus PC commercials?
Oh, I love them.
I'd love to see maybe, and I'm sure Google can't do this, and forget who I work for, but maybe there needs to be, Amazon will do this as a voice assistant versus phone, right? And show how fast and quick, right?
Yep.
It is to get information. I think that's there. The other thing that you hear about is privacy. And once again, that's one of these things where it's like, do you know what your phone does? Tracking where you go, listening all the time. But people get new devices kind of concern people and freak them out. And so I'm really happy that people like OVN are doing things around privacy, because maybe it can help with consumer perception.
Definitely.
Awesome. Really, really great question, Roger. I'm sure there's, you could ask everybody, and everybody's got their own take on this one. So yeah, great. Thank you for bringing that to us and to the discussion. Awesome.
Thanks for great answers.
Thanks, Roger. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye to you for a bit here. Now, the next question, as I'm encouraging everybody to vote here, is from you, Joan. So I'm going to keep you here. We're going to turn the tables a bit, and you're going to get to ask your question. And I'm going to bring up Ian, and I'm going to try to bring you up, Audrey, and hopefully this will work. So I'm going to say goodbye to you for a bit here, Nick, and we'll get you back in a little while. All right. And let me just try to do this, Joan. Here, we'll bring up Ian and Audrey, because I know that these two people go to a lot of events as well, and so it would be really interesting to get their take on this as things start to open up. So, Audrey, I'm going to do my best here to invite you up on screen. Hopefully, this will work. But we'll get Ian up here, and hopefully you as well, Audrey. So let's see here if that's working. Accepted. There we go. Okay, this is going to be a fun one. This is a great question given where we are right now with what's going on in the world. So
It's kind of a test, right?
there you go. So why don't we get things started here? I'll let you ask the question, and I'm going to keep my eye on how Audrey's doing here. Okay.
Sure thing. Well, my question is about what is the next in-person voice event you'll be attending or hosting? Kind of thinking of, we've been to a lot of virtual events. We're going to see some in the next few days, right? But what's that thing that you're like, oof, I'd like to see it in person. I'd like to go to a hybrid version. What does that look like for you, Ian?
My answer might be a little bit different than others because I've already been traveling to events. So I've been to a couple of I think 3 of Bradley's events. I intend to be at Bradley's event in October, Project Voice X. I'm running or co-producing a big event for the NFT industry. We expect 1,500 attendees and 400 speakers called NFT NYC, November 1st through 3rd.
We gotta put the links in the chat, yo.
Yeah. NFT NYC. I'll put it in there moment.
Somebody put it in. I'll put it in.
Pete has a big event happening on the East Coast in December. So those are some voice and NFT events that I'll be a part of in some form or fashion. I've been thinking about hosting events here at the Treehouse, like private C-suite type events with peers. And I also just went out to Puerto Rico for a week and a half and have newfound opportunities to host events there, which likely will be, again, like C-suite type events where it's founders and CEOs and just peers that would be willing to gather together. Maybe we broadcast to our communities, but I think for me, I'm most attracted to events that my friends run that are large scale. Maybe I help in some form, and events, if I'm going to lead, will likely be very small and intimate where I know everybody and we can have the value of face-to-face connection. How about yourself, Joan? What events are you looking forward to?
Absolutely. Well, I got to say, there's trepidation on my side to get on a plane yet. I used to get on a plane every 3 seconds. You know, I was literally, before the pandemic, I think almost 50% travel, which was too much. But there's still some Women in Voice events coming up. We've got our pitch events that are still remote, but I will hint that there is a hybrid summit that's going to happen next year here in Seattle. So I can't tell too many details, but we're all hungry to connect, right? I think most of us are quite ready, hopefully vaccinated, and ready to have those bigger events, but also smaller events to really meet with the people we care about. So looking forward to it. And yeah, we got to post those links. Bradley, I think you're here, so you may as well. Project
Bradley, post your link for Project Voice X, and there must be somebody that could post Pete's link. I think it's voicesummit.ai. I think he has that live. How about for you, Teri? What type of event, assuming that Canada opens up and you're able to fly, what type of event would you be most attracted to taking the time, energy, risk to go fly to and be a part of? Is it a small, large? Is it short? Is it week long? Like what would you be most likely to lean into?
Great, Ian. For me, it's the event where I can do this sort of thing, have learn a lot, but it's more about the people that are going to be there and the content, but also just the social aspects, because I think it's during those social aspects that you really get to know people and make connections. And that's where you can really develop some really, some magical things can happen from that. I met you, Ian, at one of Bradley's events.
That's right.
And it wasn't necessarily in a session. It was, we happened to be chatting and you wanted to come over and interview me. And that was like really, really special. And now here we are doing a conference together. Right. So for me, that's really the important part of the conference. Yes, the content is extremely important, but also being able to have those social gatherings. But you're absolutely right. I mean, being in Canada, I haven't been able to leave Canada. It's too much of a issue right now. If I leave and I come home, I have to quarantine in my house for 2 weeks. And then I can't work for 2 weeks. Now I can do some work from my home, but I still have to leave my home to go do my work. So anyway, that will relax over the next little while, and I'm looking forward to that. So it's a great question. Thanks, Joan, and I love hearing from everybody.
We're all eager. Oh, can I just plug one more thing?
Do it.
Women in Voice has our 3rd birthday, which will be a virtual event. But I'm just going to put it in the chat. Those who want to hang out, it's a virtual event, open to the public, but we're 3 years old. So we're very, very proud. Come hang out. We're going to all eat cake together on video.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And Audrey, I'm not sure what's going on. This is too unfortunate. I wish we could get you up here. I see you said in the chat, it says it's connecting to your FaceTime camera. If you've tried refreshing and you've tried using that setup link, I don't know if there's another computer you can try or something like that, but that would be great if you could. I don't know if that's a possibility, but thank you, both of you. We're going to move on to the next question now. All right. Okay. Okay. So let's dip into the question bank here. And okay. Oh, see, the next questions are for you, Audrey, as well.
Well, everyone hears about the Olympics, right? We all want to hear about her work.
About the Olympics. So, Audrey, before we even kind of dive into that question, I'm going to try to invite you up one more time, and let's see if we can get you on here. And even if it's with audio, that would be wonderful. So let me send you the invite right now, and we'll see what happens here. Because that question certainly is for you. If we can't get you up, I'm afraid we'll have to move on, but let's see what we can do here. All right. In the meantime, all right, now we're going to jump in. I'm going to jump into the question bank here as well. Okay. So Audrey, we will come back to you to see if we can get you organized there, if you can connect. Let's, I'm going to jump down to somebody who's asking, how can we bring in the next generation of conversation designers? And I don't have a name there. It says not yet. So I'm going to invite
Tony Ramos.
Sorry?
Tony Ramos. He was not yet, and then he unveiled who he was. It was a big moment, Terry. You missed it.
I missed
that window. Oh yeah,
I missed it.
Took the mask off and everything. Tony's the man.
All right, Tony. Well, I'm inviting you up, and I will say goodbye to Ian and Joan for a bit here, and we'll get up a couple of other voicefluencers to answer your question, Tony. All right. So we'll see the two of you soon. All right. So Tony, we have invited you to come up, and here you are. Wonderful. Hello, Tony. How are you?
Hi. I am dressed super lazily. I wasn't expecting to be on camera. So
that's the whole idea of the voice den. So you are dressed perfectly for the voice den. I want to bring up Nick for this one because I think he would be great to comment on this one. And as well, why don't we get Bradley back up here as well, and we can hear from you. So let's do that. Nick, do you want to give a quick introduction, just a brief one while we're getting them on screen to who you are?
So I'm Nick Sawka. I am the chief evangelist for Wonderword, and it's a company that is out of Boden, Sweden, which is about 10 miles from the Arctic Circle. So they get to see some really cool aurora borealises going on, and they get to take some cool pictures and then tease me with them. But they have a really good technology that they're developing in-house. We have our own audio production company, and we're creating skills, Google Actions, and actually mobile apps for a small and large IP, and also some in-house projects that we work on as well. So we have a wider range of stuff, and part of my job is to get the word out over here. So
there you go. Wonderful. And thank you also to your company Poptail for being one of the sponsors of VoiceCon Live as well. Appreciate that.
It gets a little muddy there with what arm it is, but Poptail is the social media outreach arm of Wonderword. So they sponsored VoiceCon, and we're happy to be a part of it.
Wonderful. So Tony, let's go over to you. We're going to get you to ask your question. We've got 5 minutes on the clock, and go ahead, have some fun.
Thanks. Yeah, I was going to say I'm in the magical land of Brooklyn. We're about 4 miles outside of the island of Manhattan, if you're not familiar. No, I am a former actor turned food tech and entrepreneur and voice tech enthusiast, and making my way into the industry right now as we speak. And I am interested. I think it's such a beautiful creative space, and I'm interested. I have this hypothesis that the creative artists of the world are going to be the future of this industry, and I'd like your insight into how, given their empathy and creativity and intimate relationship with dialogue, how we can get these people into the industry. Maybe I made that a little more focused than the initial question, but I thank you anyway.
Go ahead. Yeah, Nick, do you want to start that off?
Yeah, sure. So I think that there's going to be a lot of work for people like that essentially what's going to happen is you're going to have to bring the mood, the emotion, the drive into the conversational design and the planning phases. And you're going to have to account for how the conversation is supposed to unravel. So I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of potential. A lot of it's going to open up. I was recently introduced to an individual, Salesforce, Craig Bennett. He's one of the more phenomenal conversational designers that are out there. And he's going to actually be appearing on VoiceSpark Live sometime in August. So I'm going to ask him a whole bunch of questions about conversational design. But I do think it's gonna open up a lot of people that work in the arts.
Great. Yeah, over to you, Bradley.
Yeah, when all of this started, a few years ago, conversation design was basically who wants to take their shot at that. There wasn't any conversation design programs. There wasn't curriculum. There was just a bunch of want to from people who had kind of fallen out of other things, the liberal arts sort of stuff, theater, writing, communications. It was like computer programming early, in the 70s and 80s. It's like there wasn't a computer programming degree. It was just people with math or people with statistics or different backgrounds who found it interesting and wanted to. And now we're beginning to see the development of actual curriculum, of actual resources, actual pedagogy around these topics that people are so interested in. And it's going to open up a lot of opportunity because for people who, there was a lot of people who, hey, Audrey, how are you? Yeah, so anyway, as we develop more resources, people will be able to jump into conversation design without it feeling like so much of a risk. That's going to open a lot of doors.
Yeah, and I just want to add one more thing to that real quick. If you look at one of my co-hosts that I co-host the podcast with, Emily, she was a professional violinist prior to, and now she's a conversational designer. So if you want to make that jump, be cautious. Maybe go feet first, not head first. But, know that you can do it.
I find that really interesting.
Awesome. Yeah.
That you said, sorry, go ahead, Tony. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know Emily. We're part of a group called Artists Who Code. So it's very cool. Good, great person.
It's amazing phenomenal. How many artistic people are in voice, and particularly in the conversation design area of the voice tech field, if you will. It's fantastic. I love it. Great. Tony, anything else? Last few seconds here.
Oh, no. I mean, what's everybody's favorite Olympic event?
4x4.
4x4? Bradley?
Water polo. I saw some of that. It was actually fantastic.
Cool.
Swimming.
Swimming's really fun to watch.
And all the other ones that pay me.
We're going to get to your question in a sec, Audrey.
I like that.
All right. Awesome, Tony. Well, thank you. Thank you for your question. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure. And yes, awesome. I'm glad we got Audrey up here. So we're going to move on to some of those questions now. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Nick. And thank you, Bradley. All right. Good. Well, Audrey, I'm so glad that we managed to get you up here. Holy smokes. Okay.
I think it might be all the ultra security stuff that's on my laptop right now.
All right. That's
just was whacking out a bit.
So we've got Dana that's got a question about the Olympics. So Dana, I'm gonna bring you back up on screen here. Great questions. You are getting the most votes, so you get to come up, Dana. You're the next contestant.
I thought I was getting the most votes for some reason.
You're getting lots of votes. I can promise you that, Audrey. So I think this is specifically about the Olympics, and given the fact that we all want to hear from you a little more, Audrey, let's have just you and Dana tackle this question. And Dana, why don't you go ahead and ask Audrey, and I'm sure she's got lots to share about the Olympics.
Not too hard, because I've been up for like 20 hours a day for the past month and a half.
Well, my question was just how much did you have to cut back in the music and stuff that you supplied with all the things that have been cut back in the Olympics? with the opening ceremony cutback?
I don't do the opening ceremony, and I don't do the closing ceremony.
Okay.
So tell us what you do.
So
do,
those
Audrey.
those are independent productions.
So tell us more about what you do with the Olympics, Audrey, so we can kind of
What
learn.
I do is we run all of the music resources, so it's music supervision. There's an athlete, someone's doing a story about them. We try to understand where they want to go emotionally. We curate custom music for them. Sometimes we write for them. Sometimes they want a particular license, so we have to make sure that we advise the proper people so that everything is legal to use. And any kind of resource that they could need, whether it be sound effects or just generally knowing, there's so many networks and so many hours, and just making sure that we maintain the standard and the brand of the Olympics. And nobody does it better than NBC Olympics, without question, in their storytelling. And we understand their expectation of us, and we understand what needs to be done from a broadcast perspective. And we run the music operations 24/7. So whether, wherever somebody is working in Tokyo or Stanford or wherever they are, we are there at 3 a.m. and we are there at 3 p.m. And we just make sure that we keep the brand integrity, what it should be. We screen lyrics, we look at footage, and whatever they need, we get them within
Fantastic.
reason.
And I see Mike asked in the chat. It's interesting. What is your oldest and newest Olympic composition?
Oldest Olympic composition was something we wrote for Atlanta, and the newest composition is a J-pop composition we wrote 2 nights ago. We got into the same thing in Pyeongchang. All of a sudden, K-pop became this really, really big thing. And in this one, you think we would have learned from the last time. Now it's J-pop. So, for us to dig and dig and dig, it's easier for us to write it. If we're looking for something really specific, we could write it better and faster than, we gave a ton of suggestions, but we wrote that. And my most favorite Olympic composition is a piece called The Warrior's Quest. And I'm putting together, because as everybody probably knows who knows me, is that I don't like the expression bucket list at all, but I like, to set some goals in my life, and I don't have tons as far as what I have left that I really, really, really want to do. But when I hit 6 Olympics, I said, I want to get to 10. I just want to get to 10. I want double digits. And this is number 10. So Warrior's Quest, when you see that little movie, I put together a montage of all the Olympics, starting from Atlanta and all the way through. And that's easily my most favorite piece that we ever wrote.
Awesome. Thank you. Dana, anything else in the last couple seconds here?
No, not really.
All right.
My question obviously didn't apply at all. So.
Well, we got to hear about the Olympics. So because of your question, you're here and we're having that conversation. So that's wonderful. I appreciate that very much. So awesome. Well, thank you, Dana, for your second appearance on the show.
Thank you, Dana.
All right. Good. We'll see you soon. Okay. Great, Audrey. Well, I'm glad we got you up here. I'm going to dip into the question bank
I don't know what that was about.
we're gonna invite B up here. B, you got a great question about marketing, and let's bring up Ian and John for this one. So Audrey, thank you. I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and hopefully we won't run into this problem again. Okay, thank you. All right, so B, we're gonna get you up here, and let's get Ian and John, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about marketing, which is great. Okay. Hello, B. Welcome.
Hello, neighbor.
It's so wonderful to have you here on the show. Thank you.
No.
Do you want to give a quick intro to who you are so people just have an idea of who you are?
In a nutshell, hi everyone. My name is B. Capitan, and I'm in Vancouver, in the same neck of woods as Teri, enjoying the best weather possible. I know quite a few people in this group. I started out in doing digital publishing through making interactive ebooks, and I really am passionate about that. I've done some great projects lately that have. My clients have won some great awards, so I'm really over the moon about that and trying to make that. But I've been a digital book world kind of speaker and attendee many years. So shout out to Bradley. You're so awesome. Everybody show Bradley love. He's amazing. He's given me so many opportunities. So I'm gonna pipe down for a minute. I wasn't expecting you to come on. I wasn't quite sure to ask the question. So
oh no, it's great to have you here. It's always wonderful to have new faces. So thank you. You get the biggest, warmest welcome from all of us. So I'm gonna let you ask your question now to these two gentlemen, and let them take it away. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, so I just said, as there's a considerable need for marketing, and any suggestions to those interested in exploring this new career path, because I'm thinking about it myself, or definitely there's so much potential for storytelling and everything else, but I'm not sure where to go.
All right, who wants to go first? Ian, do you want to go first for this one?
It's a big question, B. There's certainly not an answer. I'll give maybe a couple ideas that I might do if I was going to break into marketing specific to the voice tech industry. One, I would ask people that run voice tech events. So I would ask Joan with Women in Voice, all things. I'd ask John with everything OVN. I'd ask Bradley and Pete with what they do with Project Voice and Voice Summit. I'd ask Teri with the Voice Den. And I'd say, is there anything I can do to support you with promotion, branding, marketing, sharing? And if you don't get a clear answer from somebody, or somebody doesn't get back to you, then just go on all their posts, comment on their posts, share their posts, like their posts, share, send their posts out, get people to register for events. So if you do the action of marketing for the leaders of the communities, then if those leaders in the community don't make an open door for you as a freelancer, contractor, employee, partner, vendor, then most likely somebody that's part of their community or their events will notice what's going on and engage with you. So I would say that would be one of the approaches I would take if I want to break into marketing in the voice industry, is I would just start doing the action of marketing for those that are fostering this community. What do you think, John?
Couldn't agree more. This is, and Ian, I just emphasize and echo what Ian said. And B, I think you found and you'd see from the people, this is a remarkably generous and giving community. It's a gift, this community. And so by doing those things, B, you're going to find so many friends so quickly that, believe me, I'd love to have a call and discuss with you. I think there's also something else, and would want Ian's comments on this as well, is there's marketing in the voice community, and then there's marketing voice to the external community. And in the voice community, the topic is probably voice. In the external community, the topic may not be voice, it may be value. Where can voice be used to create value, to make something faster, better, cheaper, smarter? Where does it fit into a business process? If you're going to start with Do Voice, and that's going to cost you $500,000 in investment, 3 to 4 FTE, plus development costs, where will that bring value in operations and customers and this and that? So absolutely, just underscore what Ian said, a remarkably gracious and giving community, and just reach out. Believe me, we'd love to work with you. And then to invoice to the external community, again, the story is not necessarily voice, the story is value. Where can voice bring that? Ian, your thoughts?
I agree with you. I think I agree with everything John says. I just, even if I don't agree in my heart, I'm like, I probably should understand his English words. I'm agreeing with John.
You're too kind, my friend. You're much too kind.
Hopeful marketers, another idea. It would be to be ideally a paid broker of sponsorship type relationships. So if you had relationships of people that want the world's attention to influence them, and you want to get involved in marketing for voice, if you could somehow bring folks that want attention to people that run events, or even corporations, and be able to broker those relationships, ideally being compensated in some form or fashion to do so, you'd fulfill, as a marketer, a tremendous need that's a revolving door of sponsors coming and going through events, or just revenue coming into corporations and being able to find partnerships that way. So again, just another creative idea. There's so many creative ideas to break into marketing in this industry.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. I just want to give a shout out. I did attend Women in Voice, and it was fabulous. And I want to say this is my third time at Voice Stand, and I loved it. So thank you very much for having me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us. Like I said, it's so wonderful to have new people come on stage, and now we expect you to see even more. If I can say that, it would be wonderful to see you more and ask more questions. So, and you're even closer than Nick is. You're somewhere down the street. So that's wonderful. Okay. So with that said, thank you for your question. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, John.
And notice in the chat, everybody, Voice Lunch has been posted in there for marketers that want to break in. Obviously, community, like real raw community. What happens here stays here, not live streamed. That's Voice Lunch. They foster an incredible community. And so just to re-emphasize that, that's in the chat, that is a fantastic place to develop great friendships.
Absolutely. Wonderful. I'm going to say goodbye to you, B, and goodbye to Ian and John. Again, I have a couple of announcements here to wrap things up. And then, actually, I'm really excited. One of the announcements is talking about our new spatial audio platform. So I'm going to talk about that. We'll see you all soon. All right. Okay. Now, so before we get to those announcements, I do want to introduce you to our Voicefluencers for session 16, as we normally do. Here's the sort of the little video unveiling of who are our next group of Voicefluencers. And as always, I think it's a wonderful lineup. So here we go. Well, there you go. Tremendous lineup as well. Super, super, super excited about that one, as you can see. It's going to be a lot of fun. And actually, let me put this up right now. If you want to save your spot right now, there's a little button that just showed up, join the Voice Den 16, and that will take you directly to the spot where you can save your spot. Now, it's just after 6. I got just a couple of quick announcements, and then we are moving on for the after party. I want to, of course, shout out to everybody that's been part of the event. Unfortunately, Sohaib, I know I introduced him at the beginning, he couldn't be here, so he sends his apologies. But nevertheless, tomorrow, starting at 8 a.m., VoiceCon Live. I encourage you all to be there on Clubhouse. The link is voicecon.live. Big thanks to the sponsors of the conference, Amazon Alexa, Speechly, Poptail, Lotus Productions, and we are super excited to welcome so many of you and have so many of you be part of this. As well, we've got a huge number of partners, and we couldn't be more proud of bringing the community together. So on behalf of Ian and I, we're really, this is one of the things we're most proud of, actually, is just the fact that we're able to bring so many people together to bring this conference to you. Now, as you know, the Voice Den has been a place for us to gather. It's been a place for us to build community. It's been the happy hour of voice. It's been called this, and I said this last time. I wish I knew who first said that, because I use that line a lot now. It's a place where we can have real-time conversations. And as you may know, if you've been part of it before, we were in an augmented reality space, the Voice Den Live version 1.0. And this is sort of what it looked like. It was a bird's eye view, top down, where you could interact with people and move around. Today, I want to tell you that we are now moving to the next level. Again, the music and sonic branding that you hear, all the sound is by Audrey and Audio Brain. So thank you again to Audrey. But here's the new part. We are now entering a 3D space, augmented reality space, where now you can move around in not just 2 planes, but you can actually get up onto tables. If you want to do that, if you want to get up on a table, you can get up on a stage. You can actually get up on the drum set. You can do these sorts of things, and you can walk around, and you can also change the view. So this is powered by Spatial Web. This is a screenshot of what it looks like when you're inside there, and you can see it's more of a perspective. And then depending on where you are, you can control the perspective of this. It's, as usual, it's best experienced by having some headphones. You can use the keyboard arrows or W, S, A, and D to move forward, back, and rotate. You can also double click with your mouse or drag to move around. To get somewhere quick, you just double click where you want to go. This is another view. You can use this on-screen joystick to pan and change the perspective of what you're seeing. And there's also ways that you're going to be able to interact with people. And you will see this in the space. You'll see some options along the bottom of the screen. If you want to, you can even create a business card in the space and exchange business cards. So when you get in there, if it's too busy, move around. It's like a real space. Explore, go see the different areas. Watch for secret NFT drops. We can actually drop an NFT in the space, and you can pick it up and have fun with it. So this is the Voice Den version 2.0. When you first go in, just be a little patient. It just takes a few moments for it to load. There's a lot of resources that are loading for this, but before long, or not before long, you will be in the space and you will be able to interact with everyone. So I encourage you to check it out. The voiceden.live is the link to go there, and I'll just put that in here. That's the link that you need. And that's where we are. So thank you very, very much, everybody, for being part of the Voice Den today. Thank you to all of our Voicefluencers. We had a big cast today, and it was wonderful to hear from all of you. Thank you to all of you, the audience, for participating. And as always, it's been a blast to bring this to you and just to bring people together and have a couple laughs at the same time. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, VoiceCon Live, as well as in the augmented reality space. And by the way, there's a prize as well for VoiceCon Live. You can check that out on the website as well. So with that said, I'm going to play the final credits, and then I'm going to see you over in the augmented reality space.